allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call, please.
Matt?
Yep.
Donald? Child?
Yes.
Slick?
Yes.
Sugar?
Yes. Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda, done. Hearings. Let's go right into the speed limit ordinance hearing. And it's October 5th, 2021 meeting, and council set this as a date and time to hear public comment regarding the changes on Chapter 140, controlled access facilities, and specifically speed limits on K49 and 7th Avenue Southeast. Attached is an arrow of the ordinance changes. The Mayor Pro Tem, that's me, opens the hearing and asks for any written or oral objections from the audience. So we're open. Anybody in the audience want to talk to it, they can come to the microphone, state your name, and you just take your time, man. Just take your time. We got plenty of time.
Sure.
Is that mic on, Mr. Donlin?
Hi, I'm Pat Denny. I live at 400 Lee Drive, and I've already given some of my complaints to the officer back here. But we've got so much traffic on 12th Street, and it's all semis. He's got a list of 7 companies here in town that are not even coming close to adhering to 25 miles an hour. We've got kids walking to school, and I know we have the signal light by the swimming pool, but some of those trucks are going so fast, if they had to stop, they could never stop. You'd be scooping a child up with a scoop shovel someplace. And the trucks that are turning now onto 4th, which is my corner, they can't make it around that corner if somebody's stopped by the stop sign. So then they're holding up traffic on 12th, and then the cars that are coming from the north on 4th, they're having to back up the hill, the little hill there, so the semis can get around everything. And also on 4th, on every block, I know that's a hospital zone, the hospital street, and everybody knows that, but it's on every block, there's at least 3 signs on each side that say, absolutely no parking. We all understand that. Could they take one sign from each side and put up a sign that says speed limit 25 miles an hour? I mean, that's like overkill for what they've got put up. And it's, and people will say, well, how do you know they're speeding? My husband was a truck driver in California for 25 years, and I mean, I can kind of guess if somebody's going too fast, faster than 25 miles an hour. So I guess I gave the officer the list of trucks, and that's probably all I have to say, except I would like to invite everybody that's on the city council and any police officer that has the day off to come to my house, enjoy a day on my deck with me. I'll serve refreshments, and you guys can watch the traffic like I watch it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So part of what she's explaining is the traffic coming into town on K49, which is part of the hearing.
Yep.
So that's actually going to help once we start slowing that section down a little bit. I'm going to talk to Greg, and we're going to look at some signage, if anything's lacking in a couple areas, and we offer to put our speed limit sign on your property.
You can put a patrol car right on your driveway.
We can put one of those cars with that
And I do
mannequin.
understand that it is legal for me to give permission for an officer to park on my property.
Yes, you can.
You got it.
Okay. So we'll talk about a few things, but I think part of this is related to the hearing, and we'll work on slowing stuff down, okay?
Very good.
Well, in the 25 too, Kevin, we don't put up speed limit 25s because people are supposed to know residential is 25. They're supposed to know, okay? But I bet you once they turn that corner and they start going out of town, they're not exactly going slow by the Bible Church either by that time. They're rolling.
It depends if they're trucks that are hauling grain
Yep.
or the ones that are hauling chopped up cement. You just almost know which driver is which, because first he's headed west with a load,
Yep.
and then a few minutes later he's coming back empty, and then it's just the same thing, back and forth, back and forth. So I don't know if they get paid by the mile, the hour, or what.
Well,
but-
the 25 can go up.
You are correct, and we will strategically put up our mobile 25-mile-per-hour
Yeah,
sign
that'd
that's
be a
got the
good idea.
flashing lights. So we will do that.
Well, I do know we've had a huge improvement out on 75 from corporate
Yes.
all the way, what I'm gonna call north.
Right.
And we got a lot of compliments on those signs that, okay, what did those cost us, Jason? And is this an area,
They weren't that expensive.
is this an area where we should look at maybe some of those signs? You see them going into Ireton, different communities, a lot of different communities I've been in, you see these signs going in, they flash at you and whatever. I think they're very effective versus.
I do too.
Versus a stationary sign,
Well,
which people,
when you're going a little fast, it says slow down. And it's like-
if you go too fast, it shuts down.
You're looking around going, okay, so
Yeah,
who
so-
saw me? You know,
Yeah.
and-
Another sign I think could go up is school zone. I mean, they don't seem to realize there's kids that still do walk to school.
Yeah.
And we have about maybe 8 or 10 that walk on from Lee Drive, and they come in from Southdale.
Sure.
And it's not good.
You know what, why don't we throw this into safety?
I agree.
And throw this into safety and look at some of these areas and maybe what signage is best. In the meantime, you guys know where you can have coffee and donuts and sit down.
Exactly right. The only thing is you're gonna have to share the deck with the big dog.
No,
That's her
that's
territory.
all right.
That's her territory. Well, that's her territory.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
4,000 apiece.
That's it?
Yeah, you can.
That ain't bad.
Or you can bake something.
Don't want 100 of them.
No, you don't want 100 of them, but boy.
So the hearing is still open to the public. You want to talk, Steve?
My name is Steve Kocher, and I live on 2160 7th Avenue Southeast, right across from the new addition that's going up. And I know that's what your ordinances are going to be talking about today, but I haven't seen what you're looking at for speed limit wise by there. I've been trying to work with the council for 20 years. I've been out there 19 years this November, and I've been trying to get the speed limit lowered past my driveway, because I am the only residence in the city of Lamar's that has 55 mile an hour past their driveway. The only.
35, Steve.
My house?
Yeah.
You better go look again, sir.
No,
That's what it's
that's what it's
proposed.
gonna be.
Don't
Good.
pass it today.
Good, because it's been 55. All right, I had not seen what the changes were. So it will go down to 35?
Dropping her 20,
Perfect,
Steve.
yeah. That's what I wanted to make sure, because you know we're gonna have a lot of spectators out there as soon as that last little piece of road gets put in, so popping off of that would be good, so. No, that looks much better.
When this does get filled in with houses, then the potential can go down to the 25 that we're talking about.
Exactly.
But because there's only one, 35 is our flow down process and whatnot.
Well, I'd make the same offer Pat did for the patrolman to sit in my driveway, but I do like Clark's idea of doing the speed zone. I would love to see one just past that road that goes up to Marty Pippett's addition there, to remind people, because that is a great reminder, because all of us are in a hurry to get out of town if you're going someplace, but that is a great reminder on Highway 75, because you look up and you say, okay, I forgot all about that. And if I don't remember that myself, I'm sure one of these fine officers back there will make sure they remind me. So, thank you.
Okay.
Steve, the important question is, what are you making? Pat's making food. Can we come to your house too?
Well, whatever you like, depending if you're on duty or off duty, okay?
He has a good grill out at it.
All right.
I was gonna say, we can stay in a hearing if they're gonna give us offers.
Get a meal out of it.
So, anyway, we still got it open. If there's anybody else that wants to talk to it, Kevin's been up. Justin, you got anything to add to this? This just needs to go down, right? Speed limit needs to go down. You guys are all in agreement on that, I think. One more time, anybody? Okay, I'm gonna close the hearing and turn it back over to the council.
I would make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 969 to amend chapter 140 controlled access facilities of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances.
Second. Okay, do we have a roll call, please?
Knapp,
Yes.
Pittsfield,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Okay, just to make sure everybody's on board with this, the first reading doesn't change the signs yet. We gotta have 2, and then we gotta have 3, and then the ordinance gets adopted.
Yeah, then it goes to one extra step in the Rex. It also has to go to the supervisors for them to do an ordinance also.
So my guess is sometime in November it's gonna happen, but in town here, where her house is and stuff like that, we can put up that sign, and we can do a couple of those things about this, the little thing on a trailer and stuff like that, so, don't go out there and call us tomorrow saying it didn't happen, because nothing in government happens real quick, but we're on board to get it happening for you guys, okay? Hopefully that clarifies a little bit. Okay, the next item is all-terrain vehicles and snowmobile ordinances. Okay. At October 5th, 2021 meeting, the council set this as the date and time to hear public comment regarding Chapter 75 all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles. This change would allow better definition of where vehicles are allowed on city streets. Currently, those vehicles are not allowed to drive on Business US 75. The proposed change would allow vehicles to drive on Business 75 south of Highway 3. Okay, so we're opening up the hearing. If anybody's got any written or oral objections in the audience to this change. One more time, anybody's got any written or oral objections to this proposed change? Going to close the hearing. Any comments by the council?
Do we want any kind of stipulation that any of these vehicles would require at least a minimum of a tail light?
Well, if they're registered, they have to follow state DOT rules,
Well,
right?
we allow golf carts now, right?
That's separate from this.
That is?
Yes.
That's a separate part of the code. The code does
Okay.
specify the UTVs or side-by-sides, that they are to be required a certain lighting and hand signals if they don't have turn signals, so
Okay.
it is specified.
Is a brake light part of that, or is it just a tail light?
I'd have to read the code and be.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay.
Again, we're just looking at the first reading.
Right.
Reading
Right.
today. Anybody want to make that motion?
Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 970 to amend chapter 75 all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances.
Second.
And Christie, can you call
Shepherd,
the roll?
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Pittsfield.
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to citizens. Anybody in the audience have something to discuss that's not being discussed on the agenda? Okay, we'll move into thumbs up award. Michael, you got anything on the thumbs up?
No, I'll pass today, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing for me.
One thing, the rural side of the house, thumbs up to them on their harvesting and the elevators are receiving some of those crops. It's important to both city and rural. So thumbs up to them.
Okay, we're gonna move into the consent items. Approval of the October 5th regular minutes, list of bills, monthly financial statements, Sitzman subdivision replat. Any questions on any of that stuff?
It's on.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 4.
Second.
Motion to approve consent items, all those in favor say aye.
We need
Ah,
we need a resolution.
It is a
Resolution and.
Oh, boy, I got the first one up there, I got the alternate one sitting on roll call, but I didn't get that one.
So we need a,
Oh,
the motion needs to include resolution 2149,
Yeah.
not 2149, 21.
56.
Okay, we'll do it again.
I did. Motion to approve consent items 1 through 4, including to adopt resolution 2156,
Okay,
approving Sitzman subdivision replat, a minor subdivision.
Second.
Skipper,
Yes.
Knapp,
yep,
Conlon,
Yes.
Swick,
Yes.
Fairchild.
Yes.
okay. We'll move on to the Floyd Valley Healthcare Audit Report. Denman and Company will be here. I see that wonderful gentleman in the audience, and somebody want to go through this a little bit and then answer my questions.
Good afternoon. Thank you for making time for me today here. Appreciate it. Yes, we started the audit process right at June 30. Developed our audit plan, worked with Floyd Valley senior team and getting the audit ready for us because we need to get ours done before the city can get theirs done. So the pressure is always there. So, but wanted to just talk about a couple things here with regards to the financial statements here. I'm not going to go down through each of every 59 pages here, but I urge everybody to read down through the footnotes. But a couple things here right off the top. The financial statements are the responsibility of the management of the hospital as board oversight. It is our responsibility as auditors to come in and plan and perform an audit, perform the testing in order to render an opinion. So on pages 4 and 5, we have the auditor's responsibility, and we are rendering an unmodified or a clean opinion, which is the highest form of assurance that an audit firm can place on a set of financial statements. A couple things here with regards to some of the key areas with regards to the financial statement audit this year. The hospital survived the COVID dip in the prior year, so they rebounded with their services this past year. So what that equates to in dollars, the net patient service revenue was up $6.5 million over the prior year. That's the top end revenue. With operating income up $2.5 million, so we have a $4 million change from the prior year. So you had a $2.5 million operating bottom line, which of course is a significant improvement over the prior year. Also dropping your bottom line too is a forgiveness of a PPP loan of $3.7 million in accrued interest. That was forgiven and recognized this year as well too. Another item of note and an unusual item here was the charitable trust that was set up with regards to the farmland to benefit the hospital. That, as you're aware of, has been completed, and that farmland will be auctioned here in a couple of weeks. And so the estimated fair market value on that increased $1.35 million from the prior year based on appraised values. So that dropped your bottom line as well too. Adding up all of these, the operating results, the PPP, and this charitable trust going your way, the change in net position or your net income for the hospital for the year ended June 30, 2021 was $6.2 million, which is a significant increase. A couple of other items to note here, the IPRS liability increased $700,000 to $12 million. So of the $6 billion unfunded IPRS liability, the hospital's responsibility is $12 million of that, and that was adjusted accordingly. A couple of other items here. The hospital during the year secured a USDA loan of $8.3 million to be built over the next couple of years for a therapy and clinic addition here, so which should be built here over the next couple of years. I know they're working on the bid process here later this fall. So that being said, we had no disagreements with management. We encountered no difficulties in performing the audit. Everything we asked for was provided to us, and it was provided to us timely. We did not make any significant adjustments or corrections to the financial statement, which is important to note that they're not waiting for the auditors to come in to quote-unquote fix the books during the year. So all in all, a clean opinion. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the council might have at this time.
Well, I got a few questions. I don't know if it's really for you.
Okay.
But you've got some horsepower behind you that can probably answer them.
Yep.
The financials are tremendous. They're really good. That's my opinion. I think that's kind of like your opinion. They did a really good job. I do have a question on this CMS advance payment and provider relief fund. We've still got $4 million sitting there. Is that subject to recapture by the government, or is that just a timing thing, or what the heck is going on with that?
The CMS advance payments, that was refunded back. The provider relief funds, there's still a process with regards to auditing those numbers in order to make sure what actually needs to be paid back or not. And so the hospital stance is a conservative stance, and knowing the council's conservative position as well too, waiting until the audits are complete and the money has actually been approved to be basically forgiven or earned by the hospital. So there's a single audit process that we'll be working on later this year, which might provide some more light to that, but that is it's an estimate. It's an estimate as of right now. That's correct.
Today, we're
Yes.
going to write a check for $4 million back, and then we'll be quote unquote hopefully done with the process.
We'll see, but I find it unlikely they would have to pay all of that.
That's like
but
what I was wondering.
But it's the conservative approach. That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Was it reasonable, likely, and probable type of thing?
Yeah.
Second item I had was physician's liability. In the insurance part, it says that we only have $1 million per claim liability for physicians. Am I reading that right, or am I wrong with that?
Let me find the right page here.
It's way in the back.
It's like 54 back here somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a